Can a second mail call make up for the frustration with the first mail call? Come back after the titles and find out. Hey everybody, Anthony Dodge, Model Train Outsider, the Märklin Outsider here. Same chair, same shirt, same layout as the previous video, but a different box. And we're going to find out whether this is going to kind of make me feel better after my debacle with the cars from Lima. Anyhow, what do I have here? I got another delivery from Märklin, and I know I've been doing a lot of first impression videos, lots of stuff. This is all stuff that I reserved at the beginning of the year when Märklin announced their 2023 new arrivals, and all the companies did. I just went through and highlighted the ones I wanted. And unfortunately, very few came in. I did buy a couple of off-the-wall purchases that weren't part of it. And then it came out that so many things that I pre-ordered were all due at the end of the year. So, I mean, these are really cutting into my Christmas gifts and so forth. But it is what it is. So anyhow, what model do I have here today? Well, I have, if I can get it up here, it is a Deutsche Bahn BR218, Märklin number 39216 in Verkehrsrot, the traffic red, transportation red. Alright, now some of you may remember that much earlier this year I bought a BR218 in Verkehrsrot, transportation traffic red, from Roco. And you may remember that was one of the few first impressions where I was a little discouraged by it. And while it does run okay, it still is not a great runner. It doesn't pull cars. It doesn't go up the incline that greatly, especially pulling any thing. So I had originally reserved this one, and then when I realized it was end of December, I got a little frustrated because I didn't want to wait that long because everything else was coming out in December. I said, well, screw it, I'll just buy the Roco instead. And so I bought the Roco, and when I was disappointed with the Roco, I reinstituted my reservation on this one. I had canceled it and then re-reserved it, and I figured I'll just go with Märklin. Alright, so let's get this out of the box on the track and take a look at it, and we're actually even going to compare it to the Roco. Here is the new Märklin 218, running number 499-2. And next to it I have put the Roco I bought a few months back. So let's see if I can slide this out and get them both in. Now when you look at the details, alright, let's get in close. Door handles, windows. These look like they have the shades pulled. The Märklin one looks like the shades are open, and there's lighting in that corridor there. The stenciling, there's a bit more on the Märklin, but again, it could just be the difference in the models they're representing. If I come in here and look at that, you can see there's less stenciling, and the Märklin is much more pronounced, so maybe that is, quote, an advantage over it. But again, side to side, there really is not a qualitative superiority of one over the other. Now, if you go back to the video when I did the first impressions on the Roco, the one in the back there, it came in at 491 grams. Pretty hefty. If you look at the Märklin here, this came in at 461 grams, 30 grams lighter. And I actually had a little bit of concern about it, but I went and checked my other Märklin 218 that runs like a dream, and it also was 461 grams. So maybe it won't be an issue. But again, both have operating fans. The venting is similar. You really can't tell, although on this one you can see that the venting does look down a bit into the motor area, where here not as much. There definitely seems to be a cover there. But again, really no major qualitative difference in detailing, except for maybe some of the stenciling, especially on this part of it. But otherwise, looks do not give away one being superior to the other. And that's how I feel about Märklin and Roco anyhow, is that I think Roco makes absolutely beautiful locomotives, and they, to me, they're the best company for making Märklin compatible locomotives and rolling stock. The Roco came in with 28 sound and light functions if you load it up as DCC. I actually loaded this one as Märklin Motorola, the older Märklin protocol. And therefore, it only has 16 in that system. I'm probably going to eventually reinstall this as DCC and get all those additional sound functions. Or I may actually sell this one because I really only need one. It all depends on how well the Märklin runs. The Märklin comes in with 26 sound and light functions. So again, one or two functions difference, not a game breaker one way or the other. I think coloring, again, you look at the coloring, they're obviously slightly different models. I do, just stylistically, I don't know which one is more prototypical, but I like how more pronounced the red line spaces above the windows here compared to if you come in here to that one. You see the red line stenciling over there, maybe not as pronounced, and I just think aesthetically I like it better. That's a personal thing. I don't even know which one would be more prototyped. So again, just beautiful locomotives. And you can go back. I'm not going to go through all the functions. I don't. But we can get a couple of sounds, diesel sounds going here. All right, I just shut all the sounds off. Now, again, I do not know I know what a 218 sounds like when I'm near them. They have a distinctive sound. I think this sounds like a 218, but Märklin did have a scandal a few years ago when they released the black and white, the AW Cottbus 218, because all the pros accused them of using a 216 sound file, and whether that was just a mistake or not. So hopefully they didn't make the mistake there, but definitely very clean sounding. And again, I'm not going to turn the Roco sounds on. We're not here to do a better than. I just showing the differences for because to me, the biggest difference is going to be running quality. If this proves to be a bad runner, then this will be the one that gets most of my running time. But we will see how it does. We're going to run it in and then come back and give it its full test. All right, it's been run in, and on the run in, very, very smooth, quiet, very impressive on the run in. The Roco, I felt, had some speed step issues in its run in, and so yes, I will say the Märklin seemed to run in a little smoother, a little more relatable speed. So let's just put this in motion and have it go up. First time through, I always do around half speed. This is listed as 140 kilometers an hour, so we'll do it at about 70, and then a second round about 80 to 90. Definitely seems to have what I consider more actuated speed. The Roco just always seemed to be running sluggishly slow. Not in terms of smoothness, just in speed. I felt like at 70, it was running more at 45. So here it goes, getting ready to go up the incline. And there it starts, right there at those two black stripes. Not really seeing any real hesitation. There might be a slowdown, but there wasn't hesitation. And the slowdown, it's just, I mean, it is an incline, so you might expect something, but there wasn't that real pause and struggle. The Roco had a bit of a pause and seemed to have a bit of a struggle. So, all right, I'm going to crank it up a little bit faster. Sorry for the shaky hands there. Now, obviously, as I always say, the slow speed is the one where you're more likely to see the trouble. So when you crank it up a bit, don't expect to see problems. And we'll catch it coming around. Alright, so I paused it for a couple of seconds there, didn't need to see it. Here we come up again, but it's also its second run through, so we'll see. Again, I didn't really notice much of a slowdown. So quite happy with that. And sadly, definitely better than how the Roco handled it out of the box. And my apologies, I don't have the brake sound activated. All right, so what are my first impressions? They're very positive. I think it ran in very smoothly, very impressed with how well it ran in. And the biggest thing is it just felt like its speed was more accurate, that speeding it up, slowing it down. I just always felt the Roco, just even when cranked up to full 120 speed, felt like it was running at 80. And even when I've gone in to adjust the CVs and adjust the speed limits and just say, okay, it just never seemed to get up there. I don't know if that's something with it being set in MM mode or if it was just the one model. And I don't want to call it lemon. I like the Roco. I love Roco products. If Märklin is my favorite, then Roco is my second favorite. So I don't want this to be a disparagement on the Roco. Anybody who follows this channel knows I have so many beautiful Roco locomotives that I sing the praises of. That's why the red 218 by Roco really caught me off guard. You can go back and watch the video, and if I remember it, I'll put a link to the original Roco review. That it just never felt right in its speed or its ability to go up the incline. It just had a little bit of struggle, and it does not pull a long rake of wagons very well. Now, understand that Roco actually recalled that this model, the Roco 218, was supposed to have been out last year, and then they canceled it, but Model Bond Shop Lipa said, don't cancel your reservation, they're just retooling it. So there obviously was an issue in the production of it to begin with, and maybe it never got cleaned up. But this is a first impression. Obviously, time is the key, as I always say. Something can be beautiful and run smoothly out of the box, and 6 months later, it's a dog. But to me, first runs out of the box seem to give a fairly strong indication of how they're going to handle it as long as I don't abuse them. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the Roco, but the Märklin is definitely going to be my primary red 218 now. And I've got it in conjunction with the older ocean blue and beige Märklin 218. And the fact that they're only like 1 gram apart, one was 461, one was a couple of grams, 459. You know, they were very much in the ballpark. And, you know, same chassis and everything. So, until then, I will say, Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains. Take care.